Coming this Black Friday to Kindle and e-readers everywhere, from the author of the Simp Trilogy, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Vanginas, They Look Like Men But They Act Like Ladies, and The Misadventures of Captain Saberhold comes Stop Simping in the Workplace. Learn what mistakes not to make in the workplace with women and protect your job in Stop Simping in the Workplace. Pre-order your copy on e-readers today. I was watching David Carroll's two videos on the 2016 presidential election, and I'm going to have to disagree with his position on the Afro-American Negro being the one responsible for Trump becoming the next president of the United States. If there is anyone to blame for Donald Trump becoming the next president of the United States, it is Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. And the reason why you can blame Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama for Donald Trump becoming the next president of the United States is, one, your Hillary Clinton ran a very poor campaign, and two, your Barack Obama was a very terrible president for 8 straight years. And those two are the core foundation of why Donald Trump is now the next president of the United States, because we can look at your Barack Obama's terrible domestic policy, Barack Obama's terrible foreign policy, and then Hillary Clinton saying that she was going to go and try to preserve Barack Obama's legacy. What legacy does he have? If you look at his legacy, he's left the Middle East in ruins and pretty much made it chaotic. Your Barack Obama has left the domestic economy at a flatline state, and he has left Americans with a $16,000 health care bill as a result of his Affordable Care Act. And then you have Hillary Clinton saying that she's going to preserve Obama's legacy and then continue with Obama's failed policies. Then we have your voting blocks, which were supposed to be there, and Hillary Clinton took a lot of voting blocks for granted. When we look at Hillary Clinton, she pretty much took the African American vote for granted, in spite of Barack Obama's track record of ignoring the needs of African Americans for the past 8 years. After Trayvon Martin was killed, Michael Brown was killed, Eric Garner was choked out by the police, and Alton Sterling this year and Philando Castile and Keith Scott were killed by police. Your Barack Obama pretty much sat there and twiddled his thumbs. And while he twiddled his thumbs and watched cities like Baltimore and Ferguson burn, African American men were becoming angry at Barack Obama and his lack of effectiveness in taking care of their needs, in spite of winning 98% of the vote in 2008 and 93% of the vote in 2012. And they listened to Hillary Clinton not say anything about trying to take care of the needs of African Americans when it related to police misconduct. And yes, Trump did say he was going to do more stop and frisk. However, Hillary Clinton's response was to continue doing more of the same of what Barack Obama did. And the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. Now, we look at your Hillary Clinton's relationship with the African American community, and again, she took black voters for granted. Even though 88% of black women went to go vote for her, and a good majority of black men went to vote for her, she still took the black vote for granted. And another demographic that she took for granted that Mr. Carroll has overlooked was white women. Now, when it comes down to your white woman, this is the group that Hillary Clinton thought she had in the bag. This is the group that Hillary Clinton thought she pretty much had locked up, because this is why she went and presented that tape of the Access Hollywood hot mic where Donald Trump pretty much admitted to sexual assault on that hot mic, and she thought she had it made. Unfortunately, she just did not understand female nature. And when it comes down to female nature, females are all about resources. And when they look at the election of Hillary Clinton, they were looking at losing resources. The white woman in America comes from the most privileged position in society, and she even has the most privileged position in the world if you look at it. She has the freedom to be whatever she wants, do whatever she wants, and has absolutely no accountability, because there is a whole host of white male beta enablers who will protect and support her no matter what. And if Hillary Clinton had become the president of the United States, those white women feared losing that most favored and privileged position as America's princess. And that's why many of your white women went out, 66%, a over two-thirds majority, to go vote for Donald Trump, because they were looking at their position in America, and they like the position of being the most privileged and powerful position in America. They feared losing that position, and because they feared losing that position, they went out to vote for Donald Trump. And this is where the Hillary Clinton campaign pretty much fell apart. Because you look at the Hillary Clinton campaign, she again thought, because a lot of women were upset about Donald Trump and his statements regarding the Miss USA, the Access Hollywood hot mic, that they would be so upset that they would go out and not vote and vote for Hillary, and that was not the case. Again, when it comes down to the American white woman, she votes to protect her economic status. And because she went to vote to protect her economic status, she pretty much went to vote for Trump in a two-thirds majority. Now, the other group Hillary Clinton took for granted were Hispanics. And she thought that because, again, Donald Trump called Mexicans rapists and pedophiles and criminals, that she had Hispanics locked up in the bag. And we see from Donald Trump winning the state of Florida, a major Hispanic base and a major Hispanic voting bloc, and Texas, another Hispanic voting bloc, that he did fairly well with Hispanic males and Hispanic females, capturing over 30% of Hispanic males and 20 some odd percent of Hispanic females. So what Donald Trump did was he gained a coalition. And that same coalition is similar to the same coalition that Barack Obama had. He had a coalition of white males who were angry. He had a coalition of white females who wanted to protect their economic base. He had a coalition of Hispanics who wanted to assimilate into American society and saw Trump as an opportunity to make America great for them. And when it comes down to Hispanics, the Hispanic American citizens saw themselves as American citizens, and they saw that when Donald Trump talked about immigrants, they didn't see him talking about them. They saw Donald Trump talking about Hispanics who were immigrants and illegal. So that's another mistake that Hillary Clinton made in her campaign, in believing that all Hispanics were going to be seen the same. And because she thought all Hispanics were going to be seen the same, she took, again, the Hispanic voting bloc for granted. And when we look at the Trump victory, again, he was able to energize his base. He was able to build a coalition. And when it came down to it, many of these groups were pretty much had their own motivations. Now, when it came down to your Hillary Clinton running this campaign, she did a very, very poor job of stating her positions in this campaign. Yes, she won debates because Donald Trump was a weak debater, but she herself was a very weak and ineffective candidate. And she did not present a strong case for why she should be the president of the United States. Outside of being the first woman president, she didn't say much about how she was going to be distinct, how her administration was going to be different. Telling people that they were going to get 4 more years of Barack Obama in the aftermath of the worst recession in American history, where the economy is still flatlined and still stalled in America, does not give people an incentive to vote for you. And this is why much of her base stayed home on November 8th. It stayed home because, again, your Hillary Clinton did not energize the base. She pretty much took people for granted, and she took the Americans suffering for granted. And Americans sat there and told, again, your Barack Obama, for 8 years what they wanted. And your Hillary Clinton didn't address those people's needs, just like Barack Obama didn't address the people's needs. And that's why they voted for Trump in large numbers. And this is why many African American men went to vote for Trump, because even though they heard about this whole stop and frisk, they felt they would have a better opportunity to be heard rather than listen to Hillary Clinton, who took them for granted, and Barack Obama, who took them for granted. If people wanted Hillary Clinton to be the first woman president, then they needed to have told Barack Obama to have done more for the American people than what Donald Trump promised to do for them. Now, when it comes down to Donald Trump, again, I truly believe he is not qualified to be the president of the United States. And when I look at the situation that's being set up, he's going to be in the exact same position that Barack Obama was back in 2009. And it would be interesting to see if he makes the exact same mistake that Barack Obama did back in 2009 when he refused to sign that unemployment benefits extension and he refused to demand that Congress stay to sign that unemployment benefits extension. If he lets Congress take a vacation without dealing with policy, he's pretty much going to put the nail in his own coffin the exact same way that Barack Obama did. Because when Barack Obama allowed Congress and the Senate to take that vacation instead of signing that unemployment benefits extension and passing that unemployment benefits extension, he pretty much made the statement to the entire American public that the American people were second and his legacy was first. And the reason why Hillary Clinton didn't win the presidency is because she put the legacy of Barack Obama first, and that legacy was pretty much her undoing. I can't put this on the Afro American Negro because the core reasons why Hillary Clinton lost this election had nothing to do with the Afro American Negro. Yes, the Negro stayed home, and yes, many of these Negroes complained about Trump, but it was up to Hillary Clinton to give them a reason to go out and vote. And she gave no one a reason to go out and vote. This woman had over 69% of people in polls saying that they did not trust her. So where was their motivation to go out and vote for this woman? And this is what's really insane about all these feminists, social justice warriors, and many other dysfunctional Americans going out here and having meltdowns over Donald Trump winning and then marching and protesting and saying he's not their president. Most of these people who were complaining about Donald Trump were the same ones who decided they didn't want to go out and go vote. And now they're marching and protesting instead of going out to do what they did on November 8th. If they didn't want Trump to be the president of the United States and they knew this was one of the most important elections of a generation, then they know they would rather that you needed to be out there waiting 2, 3, 4 hours to vote, getting your mail-in votes, and doing what you need to do. You can't get mad at those people who decided they wanted to do what they needed to do. If this election was this serious to people, again, they would have taken it more seriously and more people would have gone out to vote. Now, when I look at this whole case from a panoramic perspective, again, I cannot blame the Afro-American Negro when I can clearly see that the core of Donald Trump's victory came not just from white men and Hispanics, but from a large group of white women who everyone wants to give a pass and does not want to take a long, hard look at. Because when you look at that large base of white women, again, women are the 51% majority in the United States population, and a large majority of 66% of white women and a 30 some odd percent group of, no, 20 some odd percent group of Hispanic women went out to go vote for Donald Trump. And again, their core reason for going out to vote for Trump, again, was about protecting their economic resources because these women, again, did not want to be part of a so-called equal society where the first woman president is elected. Because again, these women did not want equality. They just didn't want to lose their position as the top woman in the world. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.